You know what I've learned, man, in nearly a half a century on this planet? I'm not that old, but not that that's old. I'm just saying I'm not a half a century old. Close enough, though, man. What I've learned in nearly a half a century on this planet is that the liberal news media keeps liberals in the dark about what this country really does and what's really going on in this country. It really, truly does. It really, truly, honestly does. I'm one Sir Grove, and this is C4CW, casting 495 celebrities worldwide. I am your host. If you're a fan of the show, we 495, we most certainly appreciate you. So, for example, growing up in America, born and raised, American U.S. patriot, one Sir Grove, OSGOE, I had, as a youth, unfortunately been subjected to and exposed to CNN. CNN is a cancerous network. It's a parasitic organism. It's a parasite organization. And quite frankly, it's not really organized at this point because it's broken down. It's malfunctioned. It's dysfunctional and really always was, but now it's kaput. CNN is virtually defunct, in my view, from what I've seen. And based on the numbers, the ratings that have plummeted, that have fallen tremendously to the brink of collapse, we're talking virtual collapse. CNN is fucking a dead operation, man, more or less. CNN is a worthless piece of shit network. It always was. It just burned out. It's at burnout. And so now that it's reached critical mass and it has imploded in on itself and has essentially gone supernova, the failed network, the epic failed network, has exposed all of its underpinnings and its inner workings and all of its guts that have spewed out in this heaping stench of a cesspool of a rotten, fucking ruined plane wreck of a parasitic organism. Just a fiery stench. And as it smolders and as it evaporates and dissipates into nothingness, it's very clear at this point that just like the Wizard of Oz, it doesn't really have anything behind it. It never did. It's just a megaphone of a cacophony of noise, and the whole thing was a trick, man. It was a grand deception. All it was a tool for brainwash that had this engine behind it, this motor that was abuzz with all this frenetic energy for all of the decades that it aired and broadcast. And it was all just a ruse, man. It was all just a communist socialist plot in America that was exposed and found out. And it exploded, man, and imploded. And it went fucking apeshit crazy, man, in its last days. And now the only remnants are a couple of talking heads here and there. And people don't really pay it any mind. They're just like, look at the fucking maggots squirm. Yeah, man. So if you had listened to CNN in the past, you would have been listening to nothing but an illusion. And that's the issue with these liberal, socialist, commie-controlled networks. People who listen to those networks, those machines, those megaphones, those bullhorns, those contrivances, those boxes, those devices that have been planted throughout America, they don't know the story that's for real. They don't know the real fucking true story of what's going on in America because they are brainwashed. They are manipulated by these communists who infiltrated America long ago. You don't get the real scoop. You don't get the real news. You don't get the skinny. You don't get the real fucking intel listening to liberal, Democrat, socialist, USSA, commie, fascist, Nazi wannabe propaganda. No, Because those contrivances, those devices, those megaphones, those bullhorns, those boxes that are set atop the mountainside, the mountains, airing, broadcasting, pumping out, emanating information, it's all disinformation, most of it, man. It's a communist plot. They don't want the left to know the truth. And so those are tools that are used to enslave the minds of the adherents, the disciples, the worshipers, the cult members, those who have been brainwashed, those who have been led by this Pied Piper machine under the likes of Nancy Pelosi, Dianne Feinstein, Feinstein, AOC, Rashida Tlaib, motherfucking Lois Farrakhan, Al Punkton, Bullhorn, Megaphone, Soapbox, espousing and spewing and uttering, saying all kinds of wicked and abominable things about America. It's all a machine, man. It's all staged up by communists who infiltrated America long ago. And the little lemmings that follow this Pied Piper system, they have no choice but to go over the cliff. Because they don't know, man. They don't know the truth. They think that is the truth. And they just go along with it, man. They just go along over the cliff.